The final boss of Nightreign is insane, so I challenged all of you to beat him as fast as possible for $1,000. These speedrunners are all extremely talented, and the end of this video is so close that both teams were only seconds apart. Before we begin, I'll be giving away 3 copies of Nightreign randomly to 3 of you who like the video, are subscribed, and tell me your thoughts about the game. I'll be responding to the winners over the next few days, and I'm really looking forward to reading your comments. Enjoy. First team up is called Bushy and the Dependents, and this team is made up of 3 streamers who may look a little familiar. When their expedition starts, we can see that they don't have any shifting earth events active, which may surprise you since you can get some pretty strong rewards, but this team has a very good reason for why they're playing without one, and you'll see why that is a little later in the run. Regardless, they're going to land on a church for a quick flash before heading over to a nearby Everjail. While they haven't found a stone sword key yet, Bushy has a relic that lets him start with one, and he's going to use it to scout out the first boss. It ends up being a team of banished knights, which is absolutely terrifying at level 1, so instead they're going to run into a nearby cave where Bushy showcases exactly how prepared his team is by opening a makeshift game seed encyclopedia. This sheet seems to utilize map landmarks to predict exactly where the final circle will close, even the night bosses that they'll encounter along the way. This is very impressive. Dedication like this is what wins challenges. After clearing this tunnel and securing a purple smithing stone 2, they exit out the other end where they find another Everjail, and at this point it becomes abundantly clear that their game plan is to clear every single Everjail. They're playing on the base map because it contains the most Everjails, and when paired with the relic that permanently boosts attack power for each defeated prisoner, they can end the run with a massive 40% damage increase. Torsads, who also starts with the stone sword key, decides to open this one, but this is still very risky. Completing this so early on will set them up nicely for the rest of the run, and while the Dragonkin soldier is one of the easier bosses, they're still at level 1, and if this boss so much as sneezes on them, then it's pretty much over.
I'm dead. Holy shit.
The soldier takes out Bushy and Torsads in one attack, but Ratty Ride comes in clutch using the Duchess's daggers to quickly revive his team, saving their run and their chance at the $1,000 cash prize, which was sponsored by G2A. G2A sponsored the prize money I gave away in this video, and I just used their website to buy this working Nightreign code, which now belongs to one of you. They're currently having a special campaign on their website dedicated to Souls-like games in particular, and for a limited time, you can find games like Nightreign, Dark Souls, and Elden Ring for some amazingly low prices. If your Souls collection is already complete, then you can also find things on their website like software and gift cards as well. There are a lot of awesome offers on G2A that are not limited to just games. Use my link in the description to check out g2a.com for games, software, gift cards, and more. Huge thanks to G2A for sponsoring the prize money and the keys I gave away in this video. The next team is called Merc Gamblers Anonymous, and despite their crippling addiction, they still managed to submit a very impressive run. When their expedition starts, we can see that they're also playing on the base map with similar relics, but their team composition is a little bit different, sporting a Raider instead of a Recluse. They're gonna land at a nearby camp so they can clear it and reach level 2 as soon as possible, taking the time to loot the area and pick up some consumables where they find a gold pickle foulfoot. This item is amazing for scoring some extra runes during boss fights, as it increases your rune acquisition by 10% for 60 seconds. Honestly, a lot of the consumables in this game are underrated, and if you want to see me try beating Nightreign while only using them, then check out this video after this one. The team's going to challenge a nearby cathedral where the Iron Eye Pike finds a stone sword key, while the rest of his team takes on the Guardian Golem. Each member of his team has also started with a stone sword key, but combined they only have 4 so far. So we'll have to see if they're lucky enough to find the other 3. After taking some time to exchange some items, the gamblers make their way over to a nearby Everjail, and en route they're lucky enough to find a deceased Recluse with a purple greatsword, a few staves, and a modded necklace which has resistances that'll help in the Nightlord fight. Random occurrences like this happen all the time in Nightreign, and while RNG does have its pros and cons, it's things like this that can help level the playing field for everyone. The Duchess Big Iron decides to activate the Everjail, and their first boss is the Bloodhound Knight. The team synergy in this fight is very strong, with the Raider tanking most attacks, the Duchess restaging whenever possible, and the Iron Eye doing something a little bit different. In addition to focusing on keeping his mark up as much as possible, he opts to fight up close instead so that he can make use of his R2, which shoots 3 arrows at once. After beating the Bloodhound Knight and collecting their rewards, the group heads north where they find the Good Merchant. This merchant is very important to their game plan as it sells much better items than the standard merchant. Along with some talismans and weapons, this merchant also sells stone sword keys, and each member of the team is able to buy one. Considering that they all used relics to start with a key, this means that they'll only need to find one during the expedition itself in order to open every Everjail. They're gonna also buy a ritual sword talisman, and 2 of them buy a weapon that gives them periodic glint blades. This is one of the best weapon abilities you can find in Nightreign, and it will certainly come in handy. After defeating the Dragonkin soldier, Bushy and the dependents do the unexpected and choose not to level up, instead opting to spend their runes at the Good Merchant as well. 2 of them also buy weapons with periodic glint blades and the ritual sword talisman. The difference here is that Bushy's team only buys 1 key initially, deciding to spend more runes investing in some better gear up front. Now that they have everything they need, the tide closes in and the run can truly begin.
Yeah, let's go all the way down south.
Despite still being level 1, Ratty makes a call to hit the Evergel at the bottom of the circle before it gets swallowed by the tide. On the way over, Ratty and Torsaz decide to stop at a nearby rise, and these are going to be very important because their team structure relies so heavily on magic. After grabbing all the Starlight Shards at the bottom, the rewards are not ideal and their overall DPS will suffer as a result. The team's plan right now is to find a very specific staff because it has a strong sorcery that'll destroy each boss, but if they're unable to do so, then their run will be in danger. Following some mostly bad luck at the rise, the team activates the next Everjail, making this their second boss fight at level 1. Because they still haven't found the staff they're looking for, both magic users are forced to use Glintstone Pebble.
Pebble Tech. Was Pebble actually good?
This time the team actually does level up, and as they make their way over to another rise, they are desperately in need of a staff. After a very expensive trip to the Good Merchant, the Merc Gamblers challenge the next Everjail, and this fight goes well. Although they're only level 2, Schnog and Pike stagger their ults to keep the boss pinned down for most of the fight. Afterward, Raider drops an extra key for Iron Eye, and everyone collects their 20,000 runes. The goal now is simple. The team is getting strong, but not quite strong enough to snowball. They decide to upgrade their weapons on the way to the next Everjail, and in the tunnel nearby they collect a gold pickle foulfoot and a smithing stone too. At the Everjail outside, the team defeats a group of stone skin lords, and some nice spirit spring movement brings the Raider to a church while the other 2 start on an Everjail. Inside the church, Raider takes some time to check the crates to see if there's anything useful. Meanwhile at the Everjail, his team's having a little bit of trouble. Fortunately, Big Iron has a big ultimate ready, and after saving his teammate, Raider joins the fight. The team levels up even further, bringing them to a respectable level 7, but they're about to do something crazy that'll change the trajectory of their entire run. For Bushy and his dependents, the hunt for a staff continues. The team enters a rise and is pleasantly surprised.
I got a staff.
The Rotten Crystal Staff is so highly coveted because it has one of the best spells in the entire game. Shattering Crystal is effectively a shotgun blast with the potential to absolutely melt bosses. Because this team has gone all in on magic, this is going to be the crux of their strategy, so finding a second staff for the Duchess is a top priority. Speed is the key to winning this challenge, and these staffs are going to save them a lot of time. At this point, the team splits up. Ratty Ride takes some time to upgrade his new staff, Torsaz heads back into a tunnel because he needs another stone, and Bushy makes a dash for the Everjail up north. Taking this one out should bring them up to level 5 or so, and once Rai arrives, we get to see exactly why this staff is so good. With the duel is down, the team takes a moment to trade some gear before taking on one of the worst night bosses you could face in a speedrun. Meanwhile, the Merc Gamblers have let their vice consume them, and it's revealed that their expedition has a scale-bearing merchant. Iron Eye and the Duchess manage to resist the urge, but the Raider decides to make a deal with the devil in exchange for the channel's mascot. The symbol of avarice is now a talisman in this game, providing increased item discovery and 20% more runes as it drains your HP. This is going to make a huge difference when it comes to level ups, and I wouldn't be surprised if Schnog made it all the way to level 10 by the end of the first night. They're gonna clear another Everjail as the tides close in. Time is running out, but they're gonna stop and kill whatever they can along the way, taking out Leonine to the south and the Grafted Scion up north. There is a lot of pressure going into this fight because each night is a set amount of time and the next night doesn't start until you beat the night boss. This is the most significant way they can save time in their runs. When the circle fully closes, the ads spawn in and the Erdtree Guardians are not a good sign. The boss for this wave can be incredibly annoying, but if the gamblers play their cards correctly, then they can still do this in record time. The ulcerated tree spirit has a tendency to run away if you're unlucky, but this team doesn't even give it the chance. They absolutely destroy it in mere seconds, and this is one of the fastest boss fights I think I've ever seen. Bushy and his dependents are dealing with a revenant. These bosses are known to waste your time by teleporting away. Their plan going into this fight is to do everything in their power to stop it from retreating into the ground.
Oh no. Holy shit.
That was...
Alright.
It's been enough.
The Revenant almost kills Torsads, but they make it out ahead and are now leading the race by just 7 seconds. For his trouble, Torsads is rewarded with yet another crystal staff, and Bushy drops a flail with some improved sorceries. Now that we're in night 2, the team discusses their new plan.
Alright, now we're gonna finish off at Big Merch.
Then go do all the Everjails we missed, which is kind of all at least on one side.
And Theodoric's arena is the northwest middle arena.
At this point, they already know the night 2 boss and exactly where his arena will be. As strong as their team is though, they're not invincible, and having such a squishy team can waste a lot of time if things go wrong. The gamblers are going to challenge a field boss nearby. Doing so with the Tide active is risky, but a great use of time. At this point, they're up to 4 levels higher than Bushy's team thanks to the symbol and the Raider's relic. Every item he uses will confer its effects to allies nearby, meaning that the entire team will get a boost from each pickled Foulfoot. With just a few more Everjails remaining, the team's going to make quick work of a Flame Ruin before hitching a ride over to the next jail. By this point, the snowball is in full effect. The Duchess has found Rivers of Blood, and the Raiders' damage from Power Stancing plus Iron Eye's marking is starting to make things look easy. With this Everjail down, there's just one more remaining, and after defeating the prisoner inside, they set their eyes on the castle. Their plan now is to clear it completely, but things could change if they're really unlucky. Encountering Elemer in the basement or trolls guarding the castle can make things a lot harder regardless of their level. As they approach the castle, it seems their luck has run out. As annoying as they are, this is a blessing in disguise. Each of the trolls drops an item in addition to some runes. After farming a few trolls, they hold their breath and check the basement. Back at the Good Merchant, Torsads and Bushy finally buy some keys, but it's still not enough to finish off the Everjails. After getting their revenge on the Vanished Knights, the team splits up and frantically searches for a key.
How many keys do we have?
I have 1. I bought mine.
They only have 1 key left, and if they don't find one soon, then they might have to go without that final attack boost. As the search continues, Team Bushy gets ambushed by a Deathbird while they clear an Everjail. The Crucible Knight goes down, but so does Bushy.
Killing Deathbird?
Ratty Rye goes for the revive as their plan falls apart. They call in Audible to kill the bird and resume the search later. Fortunately, the last Everjail is actually in the circle. After defeating the Deathrite bird, they're going to head directly towards the center where Ratty Rye breaks off from the pack to search this fort for a key.
I did get a stone sword key for sure.
Bushy and Torsads push for the castle, but rather than giant trolls, they find more Banished Knights. Normally these guys are a problem, but even with just the 2 of them, the Knights go down super easily. After farming the front gate, they decide to check the basement, and the boss waiting for them downstairs is none other than Leonine. Here we get to see the attack power buff of 6 Everjails on full display, and the amount of damage they're putting out here is actually insane. They're going to collect some talismans upstairs and make their way over to the roof. Here they show off a pretty cool skip by jumping up and sidling the ledge of the castle. On the rooftop is an Erdtree avatar, and this boss is ideal because of how slow and big its model is. Against the boss, Torsads gets the most mileage out of Shattering Crystal, and Ratty rejoins the group shortly before it goes down. When the gamblers make their way into the basement, they find an ancient hero. This boss is not much of a threat and goes down in just 6 seconds. They're going to collect their talismans from the chest upstairs and finish off the trolls, which brings them all the way up to level 14. The Raider takes the long way up to the roof, but Iron Eye and the Duchess take the shortcut. Both of them try taking on the Sentinel first, but things take a turn for the worst. Fortunately, Pyke has an ult ready, and Snoke is going to pop his too. At level 15 and most of their objectives done, the only thing left to do is to beat all the field bosses. The team goes on a killing spree while they make their way over into the circle. As the night falls and the tide closes in, Merc Gamblers Anonymous makes some final adjustments, and I don't think they could have gotten a worse opponent. The Gamblers are doing a ton of damage, but the Deathrite bird just won't sit still. Eventually it flies away and starts wasting time by going for a grab. The team recovers nicely though, and after collecting their rewards, they enter the Heolstor fight at level 15. When the fight starts, Raider buffs the entire group with some exalted flesh, and this will increase their damage by 20% for about 30 seconds. Immediately after engaging, Heolstor is brought to his knees. During the transition, Raider buffs his team by using every item in his inventory. Once Heolstor is officially in phase 2, the rest of the fight speaks for itself. Their final time was 31 minutes and 17 seconds. Can Bushy and the Dependents beat that?
Wow, we are way ahead.
Bushy's team is doing amazing. Using the key that Ratty Rye found, they're going to open up the last Everjail and collect their final attack power bonus. This brings them to an additional 40% attack power, and by the time they get into the circle, their setups are all incredibly powerful. Between the talismans, staffs, and passives on their weapons, they are ready for pretty much anything. The boss spawns in and it's a magma worm. The size of this boss is working against it, and it doesn't get a chance to stall with magma. Going into the final fight, they are all level 15, and this magic setup is unlike anything I've ever seen. Let's see if Bushy's team has what it takes to win. The team's doing well so far, but everything changed when Heolstor entered phase 2.
On me. No health. Fuck off of me, let me cast.
Damn.
I had really bad luck there.
Yeah, that was a really slow phase 2.
31-10.
Although they won the challenge, Bushy's team knew they could have done better, and that mindset is part of why they did so well. That's all for this one. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, then you won't believe what happens at the end of this one.
What do you build me up?